Spoiler warning. The following video contains spoilers for the board game Role Player Adventures. And some whining, but mostly spoilers. Thank you. Hey there, folks. Welcome to day 37, I think. No, 38. I'm sorry, today is day 38 of my year of solo board gaming. We are currently wrapping up Role Player Adventures. We have 2 more adventures to go. There's also a side quest that we could do. We're not going to do that. I think once I finish the finale, I'm going to enjoy a nice break from Role Player Adventures because it's been a lot of filming. I think all told, it's going to end up being like 15 to 16 hours worth of video, and I'm not sure how I'm going to present it. Plus, I had to record one of them a couple times. But we are in the penultimate adventure. This is Adventure 10, Above the Dreaming Sea. We are all set up to go here. In terms of advancements for the last adventure, I took 1 more combat dice, so now I'm up to 6. I can do 6 combat dice per thing, which is actually really helpful because we're going to run into some monsters that are going to be really tricky, to say the least. One thing I've noticed is that the monsters don't really require more dice roll unless they have modifiers that have it, but the skill checks do. So I think I'm in a good situation. The skill checks I don't have to worry about getting fatigued on to the point where I become exhausted, but combat I do. So having that extra dice I think is going to be really helpful. I also picked up a runic pendant from the armor, which is great because the runic pendant works with the other runic items, and this one allows for you to flip a white die or re-roll it. You can always re-roll with each of these runic items, but that gives me greater flexibility because the runic armor can all be played for the same as part of the same play. They don't count against your play limit, so that's really helpful. Last time I got kind of screwed because I didn't rest right before the last thing. Would have gained some XP otherwise, but in the end, it doesn't really matter too much. I got 28 health now, so I'm in a good situation. We are set up here to go. I may pause near the end depending on how much time we have. So I'm going to set a timer here. Alexa, set timer for 12:55 p.m.
Alarm set for 12:55 p.m.
All right. When that alarm goes off, I have to take a break. But for now, let's go ahead and get started here. After entering the Gurlung Colossus and restoring its machinery, you have traveled to Afriel, Plain of Knowledge, in search of the immortal knight of Nalos before the Battle of Brazier Wall. There, all of Ulos will compete for the right to earn Nazima's blessing. When you land in this strange world, a vast ocean of grey folk destroyed the Colossus, leaving you stranded. An endless grey sea stretches to the horizon. The purple stone arch clusters you stand on is the only solid ground in sight. High on the landmass, you see signs of civilization. Green foliage spouts from the roof of the simple structures carved into the stone. Giant bats fly among these buildings, carrying crystal-faced riders on their back. We're going to start off in A, and of course we do the traditional thing. We take the XP. You survey the wreckage of the Colossus and find nothing that will get you back to Ulos again. You do, however, discover an odd bit of Degolium, and that's going to be the tuning fork. I've already pulled that out here. Without the Colossus, you'll need some other way to open a homeworld rift. In your efforts to collect artifacts in Nalos, you learn that powerful objects from their planes tear holes back to their own worlds, unless the artifact is surrounded by Degolium. And so, you reason if you can find an artifact from Ulos here in Afriel, you might just be able to get home again. Up ahead, the archway branches in 3 directions. The branch to your left rises towards a small dwelling, perhaps the home of some of the crystal-faced folk who inhabit this world. The archway to the right leads to a strange orchard where the low sunlight glints off reflective shards. Between these branches lies a third, which extends to a massive building resting on the peak of the cluster. Somewhere ahead, you'll find Nalos' immortal knight. So we've got an item here. I don't think there's much point in using it. There's no fatigue associated with it, but I don't see that being helpful. Each of these will generate 1 of 3 random encounters before we get there. So we could go to the archives, the structure, or the orchid. I don't know why I keep saying orchid. We're going to go to the archives first, I think. And no particular reason, but I feel like that's our best bet. So we're going to head off this way. We're going to have an encounter. We encounter 1. Now, along the way, also, I'm going to have to worry about being hostile to the Kinnock, whatever they're called, Kleinox, and because I want to actually, I want to restore that reputation. As you walk along the archway, you spy a group of Kleinox passing through a small rift. Green spores float from the rift into the Kleinox's homeworld. Glowing mold hangs from every surface on the other side. Several bone-white cocoons of mold wobble as the Kleinox approach. They poke at these curiosities. The wiggling cocoons burst open, spurting forth slimy humanoids that rise to their feet and attack. The Kleinox are quickly outmatched. We can either enter the rift and defend the Kleinox, or we take cover and observe. Now, what the Kleinox are fighting are fungoids. We actually dealt with this last time, and I think we actually did our pretty well against them. So we're going to fight. We're going to go ahead and fight fungoids. Oh, good. It's fungoid and ooze. I should have guessed. You leap through the rift and land next to the Kleinox explorers just as the mindfolk are about to devour them. So fungoid and ooze together again. This is no modifier. So fungoid is mostly constitution and dexterity. Ooze is a little bit easier. The fungoid is probably the more dangerous thing to take care of, but it'll be easier for us to knock out the ooze. So let's go ahead and do this. So our first thing that we're going to figure out is what sort of dice do we want to bring. And I think we're going to bring 2 black, 2 gray, 2 green, and then the rest we're just going to pull. So 2 black, 2 green. There we go. Now we're going to get 2 more dice of whatever colors. And I think actually every color except for blue is represented on here somewhere. So watch me pull 2 blue. There we go. That goes back in there. So these are our starting dice. If we can take out the ooze, great. But obviously we want to kind of focus on the high target ones first. So looking at this is not awesome. Yeah, it's not awesome at all. So we have 10 dice that we need to cover. And a lot of these are just really not that helpful. But we can flip the 5 and the 4 together as a single thing, I think. No, I take that back. So 5 I can cover with that. 4 is going to have to cover the 3 over here, I think. We have a shield, a spiked shield that will allow us to manipulate 2 black dice or 2 green dice at the same time. We have that. So that would allow me to flip the 4 and the 5. We have the Resolute, which is, I hate to do it. Can we knock this out completely? That is the question. Because a lot of it, I feel like, is going to be very difficult to do. But between these 4 cards, we can cover the use completely and just be done with it. We should have 2 tokens out here as well. And we still haven't used any bonus play. And we're going to be then having to deal with the fungoid on the next turn. But we still have some dice that we can then use to help defeat the fungoid and help manipulate that down. So I think the first thing to do is... Yeah, we're going to use the spike shield first. That allows us to manipulate 2 green dice down. We only need to do 1. So let's, before we do that then, let's actually produce a green dice. We will probably use one of our bonus plays to start with. There we go. So we'll use the runic necklace. Well, if we use the... No, that's not the card. That's not the right card. Sorry. We also have Dispel. So protection is what we want. We want protection. This will allow us to pull a green dice. And the green dice can never cover 1, 2, or 3. We really need a low number. What we kind of got screwed here is that a lot of these are such high numbers. 1. Okay, so 1 is good. We're going to go ahead and use the spike shield now. So that's 2 cards total. We're going to cover the 2 here, not the 1, because it's got a higher damage value. And we are going to get an XP from that. We're also going to adjust the 4 down to a 3 so that we can cover that one. And that's 3 damage. That's pretty huge. We're also going to cover this 5 while we're at it. All right. So far, so good. Rune Bones allows anything to become a 3. And so we'll go ahead and make this a 3. And that's 3 cards played. We'll use our ability to turn this 5, throw this 5 back into the bag. And that makes this a 6. Again, another dice that's really going to be nasty. That leaves us the 6 here. We still have 1 more card to play, plus we could play 2 more cards if we wanted to. I'd like to try to get this ooze out of the way, though. So what we're going to do is we're going to actually produce 4. As our 4th move, and hopefully it's a red. It'd be great if it were a red. It's not. So this is going to be a 4. Okay, so that's going to cover that because we'll also use weak at the same time. Now that means that we've used 1 bonus play to cover that. And so what we need to do now is produce a purple 1 that would cover this, but I don't think we have any way to do that. So the best thing that we can do is perhaps just flip that 6. Which I'd rather wondering if we should just wait. I'd love to be able to get rid of it, but it's going to be a difference of 2 stamina. And we lose 1 XP in the process, but since we don't have anything that really takes care of that purple right now, I think we have to... We could cover the 1, could make use of that. I think, yeah, we have to just take our lumps. We're going to end up taking 8 damage, 10 damage total, so we'll just pull one of these 10s. Puts us at 14. We're halfway through our damage. This goes back in, and we also lose one of these. But now we're going to get 6 more dice. We want at least 1 purple, so we will pull that. The rest will lead to fate. It's going to be rough because we don't have a whole lot of greens left in the bag. I'm debating whether or not to use a white. We're going to use a white as well. I still have a black dice that will allow me to pull that. I might need, because these aren't looking that great. Okay. This is not great at all. Okay, so the first thing that we can do is we can cover those whites. We can use the spell book to make this a 3. That's 1. We can use the Blessed Mace for 2 to make this a 1. To cover that. We can now pull forward Sorry, just trying to figure out what I can do here. So the glaive, unfortunately, does not work on the glaive does not work on 1 dice at twice. Yeah, and unfortunately I don't have any way to get that 4 further down. So I'm going to use as my 3rd card, I'm going to pull forth the black die. If I can find it. Oh, Dispel, it's right over here. Sorry. Sorry. Okay. We've already used our class ability, unfortunately. We still have a 4th card to play. We don't have any way to adjust the black one, unfortunately. So I think I'm going to use the Lavender Pigment as my 4th play to make this a 2. So at least that character is dead. I'm still going to take 4 damage on this next one, which is not enough to kill me, but it's still a lot of damage. I can play 1 more card as a bonus play, but I don't think I have anything that will allow me to get that 3 to a 1, and I don't think I have any way to make that purple work. Yeah. I've played 4, and if I have 1 purple on the next one, I can definitely do it. I need 2 more cards to make it work. I need Jade Gauntlet to turn a purple dice into a 6, and then manipulate to make it a 1. And I can't wait on the Lavender Pigment because I have no more black to throw in. So this is going to have to wait till the next turn, which is unfortunate. So we're gonna have 1 more combat that we're gonna go through. We're gonna get 4 more damage, so we'll just take this out and these out, and we're now at 20, which is a lot. I should have 5 XP total now. I've been forgetting to add them in, and the reason this is important is we're gonna need most of this to fix the situation. So unfortunately all of these are going to go back in. We're going to take 1 more damage to guarantee that we get through this, and then the rest doesn't matter. Like, it literally does not matter. Yeah, see, the rest of that is garbage. So there we go. Didn't even need to worry about using the Jade Gauntlet. We can just turn that to a 1, and we have succeeded. We should at this point also have 3 gold. What I should be doing is actually lining these up on the cards, and then I can transfer them at the end. That way I can do a better job of making sure that I've actually completed the combat. But we have fought off a Fungoid and Ooze. So we can put all of this away. Holy moly, that was rough. We're going to flip our rest token. We're going to go ahead and take our Manipulate back. That's some of our discards. And Fungoid is going to be here. Ooze is going to be here. All right. You slay the creatures and save the Clinox. Go to 1028. You strike down the mold creatures who explode into clouds of spores, blinding you and constricting the air around you. You tumble backwards away from them to catch your breath. The archway is covered with their remains as the rift closes on their world. You saved the Clinox, and they seem very pleased with you. If you have the title Hostile Lifeform, thanks, Tarek. Thanks a lot. Return it to the title deck. If you do not already have the title known to the Clinox, take title card 85. We will gladly turn this back. Known to Clinox. We're going to keep this up top because I have a feeling it's going to matter a lot. We can now choose to rest or move to the next location on our path. We are going to choose to rest. We're going to use 4 dice, pretty much everything that we got for that battle, because I really don't want to mess around here. We have 21 here, so chances are we're only going to clear like 14 of this. So 12, 16. Out of 21, that'll leave 5 left that we have not cleared. So we'll go ahead and return that, flip that, and we'll go ahead and add back to our rolls. 2 dexterity, 2 constitution, 4 constitution, 3 charisma, 3 wisdom. We've not done a whole lot in terms of expanding out our character, and it is interesting to see how far this goes up to. You know, we could have been adding attributes the entire time, but we've chosen instead to give ourselves greater flexibility, and I think the fact that we have a 6 combat dice limit is really going to be helpful in these last 2 adventures. But for now, we're going to go on to Clinox Archive, where people will be much familiar with us now. Take the XP. You find yourself in a large open courtyard. Giant bats fly in from above carrying Clinox riders who arrive with translucent containers of gray matter, samples of the endless gray sea. Each container glows with unique memories from other worlds. Elder Clinox with long purple cloaks inspect and label these samples. The couriers rush off to store the labeled samples somewhere beyond the passageway at the other end of the courtyard. Occasionally a rider arrives with a small Dergolium box. An elder inspects its contents, sometimes ordering the box to be deposited along with the samples, other times ordering the riders to drop the contents into the sea. Several of these boxes rest unattended near a shady corner of the courtyard. You spy Gundar sneaking towards them, probably hoping to secure something of value for the Dragul. 2 Clinox guards stand nearby. We can either help Gundar by distracting the Clinox or alert the Clinox to Gundar's attempted theft. What do you think we're going to do? We're going to alert the Clinox. You hurry over to the Clinox guard and alert them to the presence of a thief. They brandish pink spears of crackling energy and chase a terrified Gundar out of the courtyard. The guards thank you for your help, and you turn back to watching the harvested gray matter come in. Our Dragul favor drops down 1 more. We go to E6. The Clinox are now too busy with their work to notice you, so you decide to cross the courtyard and see where the couriers are taking all the samples in Dergolium boxes. On the ground you find an interesting object, something the elders must have rejected. Reveal discovery card 92. Dergolium cylinder. This is going to take 1 fatigue to use. When you reach the passageway on the other side, you are stopped by a Clinox guard who makes it clear that you are not permitted to enter the archives beyond the courtyard. A Clinox courier approaches the guard, presenting its face and purple stone staff for inspection. The guard scans these with energy from its own staff, then allows the courier safe passage into the archives beyond. We may either use an item or rest or move to another location. We can't rest because we haven't done anything to merit a rest. We could try E100, which is not going to make a difference. You ring the Dergolium tuning fork and place it near the guard's crystal face, which immediately vibrates with what sounds like laughter. We could combine the two, but I don't think we have enough stuff to really try it yet. So for now, let's head back to the purple stone structure. So we're going to go here, and we're going to have another encounter. This one is going to be encounter 3. 10-3. If you have either the titles Zalek's Witness or Saved by the Rift. So Zalek's Hand. I don't think we have saved. No, neither. Along the edge of the archway, you stumble upon a group of Kleinoks watching each other race their flying mounts. A few spectators quickly surround you. They grab your arms and push you onto a saddled mount. Bands of rubber emerge from the saddle and strap your ankles into place. The Kleinoks slap the bat creature on its hindquarters, and it launches off the edge of the archway. Suddenly you're airborne and holding the reins of a strange creature. Other riders approach you, eager to test your skills. The challenge is clear. Be the first to fly to the far side of the arch cluster and back. So we have two choices here. We can either take the high route or the low route. I'm not sure why I'm doing either, but I guess I'm going to go the low route. 10-9. Because it's going to use intelligence and strength, and as opposed to strength and constitution. You drive your beast low and bob and weave through the purple stone archways. This way is quicker but more difficult. Other riders are on your heels, and your mount pulls you this way and that. The force of its turns could be enough to throw you from the saddle. Resistance 4, and I don't care. I honestly, I don't want to spend anything. This sounds weird. I don't feel like the stakes are that high. So I'm going to pull what I can, try to cover the XP, but if I fail, and I'm okay with that. So we got 10 dice. Not looking good. We have the weak, which will allow any 6 to become a red, so we'll cover that. So not looking great because we don't have a whole lot of reds here. All right, let's cover what we can. So 6 automatically, and that's going to give us the XP here. We can cover the 5. We have a 1 down there. That's not going to be that helpful. Essentially, like we're not going to be able to do it. We just don't have enough to really pull it forward. Decrease a red or white die by 1 or 2. So yeah, that's 1. We'll use that to cover this. We have weak. That's 2. That'll cover that. And I think that's as much as we can do without really getting spendy. We can generate 2 more reds. And we can convert Resolute into a 3. That there. We can use Manipulate to get us the 1. We can use our class ability to make this a 3 using the 2. And now we have 2 more cards. And one of them just simply is pull a red card forward. It's a little frustrating. If we had a red, if either of these had been red, we'd be okay. What we can do is we can use Ancient Tortoise and Grim Taker together, but that won't be enough. Can't find Grim Taker. Sorry, there we go. So we could find, if we could find these 2, and one of them came up 2, we'd be good. So we're going to try it. We might as well. We're going to pull a red specifically. This will use both our bonus plays. We will be resting after this. We'll do one rest. So that'll help get us some more XP back. So 4. And then the last one is Ancient Tortoise. And it's a shame because one more bonus play, we'd have it. We could do it with 7 cards. We just can't do it. Yeah, that's unfortunate because that's a 4 as well. All right, so we failed. That's okay because we weren't really trying. We don't want to show these. Like, we're a stranger from another world suddenly jumping onto a bunch of bats trying to show that we're the best rider ever, and we've never done it before. Like, how cocky is that? You do your best to keep your grip but are thrown from the saddle. You tumble through the air, plummeting towards the corrosive grave sea below. Visions of otherworldly memories flash before your eyes when suddenly your mount seizes you in its claws and flies you back to safety. The race is over well before you return. The Kleinox spectators seem unimpressed with your efforts. A few look downright disappointed. You see an unknown currency change hands. Rest and move on to the next location. So we'll rest. We'll use one of these. We'll go ahead and take a die. See how much of the 5 we get back. All of it. That's excellent. That's no longer a concern. These come back. This gets flipped. This gets flipped. These go back here. We are at the correct totals for our attributes, and we are ready to go. Purple stone structure. Okay. Did we collect the XP from here? We must... No, it's here. It's got knocked around. Green leaves sprout from the tops of purple stone buildings. Through the doorless entries, you can see that the roots of these leaves reach down through the roof and into the main space of the structure, ending in a row of silver tanks. Held in racks connected to these tanks is a set of 3 pink crystals. 3 black rubber blobs reach up out of these tanks and latch onto the crystals, pulling them from the racks. These blobs suddenly grow upward, forming arms, legs, and a head with several facets of the crystal serving as their faces. These figures stretch and greet each other and then head across the archway to the south. When you approach the now vacant structures, your entry is barred by a sentry just like the ones from the Girling Colossus. We can approach it or we can attempt to dismantle it. And I think we want to approach it, maybe? We're going to approach it. I think that is the more sensible way to go. You approach the dwelling as the automaton approaches you. It emits a green light over your face. The automaton's eyes watch your reaction carefully. You feel as though the machine were somehow probing your mind, so you do your best to think back on your happiest, most innocent memories. Introspection 4. Interestingly, if we still had a hostile life form, we would not be able to use skill cards during this. So we're going to go ahead and use 2 blue, 2 white. And I kind of feel like this is an important one to pass. So we'll also use 2 blue, 2 green, 2 white. And then the rest we will try to generate. Looks like the red, we can just make a red. Okay, well, there's the red. There's more. Alright, there's another white. So, not great. We're probably going to need to use to generate some dice. These are all low, so our ability to add things together is going to be very non-useful here. Okay. So let's line up the whites first. Let's get this put in there so we can just have it. That is useless. That is useless. And 2, 6. 2, 4. Alright, so at least the 2s we can cover, and that'll give us 1 XP. We're going to put the XP down here so that way we know we got it already. And then nothing else. Like, nothing else here is useful at all. So we can do the 4 at the very least. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to use Vibrant to add one of our die. And we'll also use protection to generate a green. So this will give us one blue and one more green. But it does go against our 2 of our 6 cards that we can play. 3 and 4, neither of which are really that useful. Okay, so take that back. So we've got runic dye here, which is definitely what we're going to need. So runic dye, runic necklace, and runic pendant. And also wand. There we go. Okay, so this is going to bring me to 4 cards, but it will help me cover a lot. So we're going to have the runics all count as 1. I just realized you're not really able to see that, are you? Let me bring this up a little bit. There we go. The runic cards all count as 1. The runic allows me to flip this 6 to a 1. I get the other XP. This one allows me to lower a die by 1 to 2. And this allows me to flip a white to 1. Okay. So that's 3 cards. Our 4th card will be to make this a 1. So now we've used 4 cards. We need 2 more cards to do it, to get this done, and we can do this. So we're good. We can use the Blessed Mace, and we can just go ahead and use the Spike Shield. It doesn't really matter. Use that and that. Our 2 bonus plays are now used, but this 4 now becomes a 3. This 3 now becomes a 2, and we're good. We have succeeded in our skill check. So these can go back up here. These can all go in the bag. And we've passed introspection, which I feel like was really important that we do. We are on C, and we were C13. It lets you pass unharmed, C13. After a few moments, the automaton's green light switches off, and the probing sensation in your mind ceases. The machine returns to its patrol, and you are left to your own devices in the dwelling. You look around and find that the rubber suit folks left behind one of their small purple stone staffs. Record the keyword home. Reveal discovery card 61. Purple stone staff. When we now use an item, rest or move to another location, so we will go ahead and rest. We'll take one of these. That'll put both of these back here. This will basically replete our deck. We'll roll a die. I don't think we'll be lucky to get a 6 again. 5, I'll take that. And we'll go ahead and make sure that all our things here are up to date. We just need one more for here. So now we can use some items. We could use the 100, but I think we're going to have to use the C. Let's use C20. Let's do 92, 100 together. You ring the tuning fork against your cylinder, and then you place your forks against one of the silver tanks. It immediately ruptures, and a dark rubbery substance spills out over the floor. You see the bare root structure of the plant squirming in the air as if it were reaching for its lost soil. The plant quickly withers and dies. Return 2 stamina from your Cha attribute to the supply. That's irritating. We could also try using 61 plus 92. Let's go ahead and try that. That's going to be 2 fatigue. You click your Degolium cylinder against one of the silver tanks and then point the purple stone staff at it. The staff projects an image of a living blob crawling out of the tank. This is going nowhere. And I think we probably want to continue to explore and then maybe come back and figure out what's going on. So we're going to go this way. All right, 2. That's our last encounter here. If you have either the title Crete's Savior or Crete's Hunger. On the path ahead, you see flashes of pink light beaming from a pit carved into the archway. Several Clinocs are gathered around the edges of the pit, spectating while 2 contestants engage in magical combat below. When their battle is decided, the crowd cheers and the victor waits for another challenger. Someone pushes you into the pit, and the crowd cheers again. You rise to meet your opponent, only to discover that you are facing off with Crete, the young Wrathborn noble from Sabek. Crete smiles. I suppose you are surprised to see me. After we last met, I walked back to the palace and wandered into this world through the rift. It's much less boring than Sabek. I've even learned a new trick. Crete produces a purple stone staff and begins to construct strange figures of crackling energy in the air. Defend yourself, cries Crete. The crowd of Clinocs cheers. So we can either rush Crete before he can complete their construction, or focus our mind and counter the magic. Now, we're going to do the latter because that's going to require constitution and intelligence. The other one requires dexterity and charisma. And we just kind of lost a couple charisma there. So, 10-21. You focus your mind attempting to produce a magical attack to overpower Crete. Introspection 4. I think this is the same one we just did. So, and again, we're going to go kind of heavy here. We're going to go 2, 2, and 2. So 6 dice. We're going to get 2 white, 2 blue, 2 green. And we're going to hope for better die rolls this time. And then we're going to get 4 more die. That's good. I mean, it's not great, but it's good. 2 more to go. Oh, there we go. Here's the red. All right, so the red we don't have to worry about. All right, let's start covering some stuff up here. So 4 is good, 1's good, 1's good. We're going to get the XP for that. 1's good. The rest of these are all slightly off. So 3, 3, 6, 1, and 5. All right, so the first thing I can do is I can actually... Yeah, I think that might be my best bet. I don't know if I can flip a 4. That's the flip a 5. That's the problem. I think the first thing I need to do is I need to add a green die. Plain and simple. All right, good. 3. Covers that. So we have 5 more cards that we need to play. If we could flip... If we could flip a blue, that'd be great, but we can't. I think the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to actually just simply use our spellbook to manipulate. We're going to make this a 1, or bring this down to 2. So that's 2 cards, and I think the rest of this we can cover. Yeah, because that will get me down to a blue as well. The wand is 4. And then I have something that makes... It's one of the Urgolian items that we got. Lavender pigment, that will do it. So Runic Crown brings this down to 4. Wand brings this down to 2. Gets me another XP. Lavender Pigment, we'll use a bonus play for that. Brings me down to 2. And that completes the skill check. So this goes here. Dice goes back in. I was able to handle Crete. Discards go back into my deck. Your magic knocks them flat. 1032. You knock Crete off on their back. All Crete's constructions of crackling energy evaporate from the air. The crowd of specters cheers and congratulates you. Crete smiles begrudgingly. Well done, they say, but it was a cheap tactic. The ways of Kleinok's magic are perhaps too sophisticated for you. You offer Crete your hand, and they take it. If you have the title Crete's Savior, 1034. Crete regards you warily, but you also glimpse in their respect in their gray eyes. I have no intentions of going back with you, you know, says Crete. I'll study the arts of every world in the planiverse before I ever go back to Sabek. As Kleinok's hands pull you from the pit, Crete waves farewell. The spectators deposit you back on the archway path, and a new challenger descends into the pit to test Crete's skill. Crete welcomes them with a sinister smile. Rest and continue on. So we are going to rest. We're going to use the 2 XP that we just got. We're going to restore 8. So that's this 6 plus 2 more. So that's not too bad. Put 2 there, 2 there, and 2 there. Those all get repleted upwards. There we go. And these go back in. And we continue onward. And we've done all our random encounters. Crystal Orchard. B2. The thin, prickly trunks of these... we'll collect the XP. The thin, prickly trunks of these trees branch at odd angles, twisting themselves by some logic unknown to the flora of your world. Pink crystal flakes grow from the pale green flowers that grow along each branch. The trees are aligned in careful rows, carved into rock long ago. 3 rubber-bodied, crystal-faced humanoids wander this orchard, inspecting flakes by hand, sometimes projecting patterns of light in the air with their purple stone staffs. A stray beam of light passes over you, and the staff you found responds by producing a sound so highly pitched that you wonder if it is only a ringing in your ear. But the sound is real enough to catch the attention of the crystal fake folks, who seemed alarmed at your presence. They race over you to inspect you more closely. The figures become less agitated after they realize that you are not an immediate threat. However, they don't seem quite ready to let you go. One of them holds out a purple stone staff similar to the one in your bag, and then looks at you quizzically as if to say, "Why do you have a tool like ours?" It seems that these magical items are for locals only. So we can deny that we have a staff, or we can attack them. Neither seem great. We're going to deny that we have a staff. B7. You do your best to pantomime a denial to the rubber suits. They do not appear immediately receptive. Their staffs glow, and the staff in your bag rings once again. You'll have to really make an impression to convince them that it isn't a purple stone staff that is making that sound. All right, so Deception 4. And I can't tell if I really, really do want to make sure that I succeed at this one, but I think I do. So it's going to be a lot of purple and a lot of blue. So we're going to take 2 blue, 2 purple, 1 white, and 1 black. So we cover all that. 4 more dice. Let's hope we get good ones. Not great. I think only one of those is something I can actually use. Okay, so 5 goes there. 4 will go here. Purple, purple. 4 will go here. Got 1 and 1. 4, and then 5. So 5, at least we can cover that. The rest of these are really unhelpful. We're going to actually use our enchanter ability to make this a... 2. No. All right, we're kind of effed here. So I think the first thing that we're going to do is we're actually going to play weak. And what that'll do is it'll allow us to take one of these 2s and make this a purple 2. So that's an XP. We can also manipulate. That's 2 dice, 2 things so far, and make this a 1. The reason is now we can use our ability as an enchanter to turn that 1 into a 2. We still need to take care of these these reds, but we also still need to generate a white. So the next thing that we're going to do is we're going to generate a white. With Grimtaker. Actually, we can generate a 4 and then just make the 4 anything we want. The problem is that we still face an issue with the blues. Do we have something that makes anything a red? Yeah, Rune Bones. That's 3. That's going to make this a 3, and we'll get our other XP in case we are not successful here. 3 more cards, 2 of which will allow me to so I can generate a white, generate a 4 and make it white automatically. That'll bring me to 5 cards. That'll leave 1 more card, and Pickpocket's not going to do it. Pickpocket and Wand would do it, but I still need 1 more card to get me down. So the other alternative is that I go with Mystic Robes. If this doesn't work out. So if I pull a 4 and it's not a white card, I'm going to have to use both of them. Yeah, I don't like this. I feel like there was probably a better way that I could have done this. C'est la vie. So our hope is that it's one of the white dice, it's one of the familiar dice, because any of those will allow me to just simply cover that 4, and then I can succeed automatically. It's not. So this is going to end up being a 4, but it's going to take 2 more cards. So that goes here. These 2 get used. And so now we're down to, we need this, because I don't think we have any way to make that just simply a 3. Yeah, the Rune Bones made things a 3. Automatically. Nothing else I have is going to work in that respect. So that's going to go over here, and we're going to get 2 chances to re-roll this and hope for a 3. 1, 6. We fail. All right, that sucks, to say the least. I don't think there was anything else I could have done. Really, like I could have tried to produce a blue, and rolled and hoped that it worked. Nothing else here really comes to mind. Grimtaker was just simply add a blue. Yeah. Unfortunate. They demand you offer them a piece of equipment in trade, B10. Unimpressed by your gestures, the crystal-faced folk inspect your belongings, demand that you offer them something in exchange for the device that you took. Each player choose one weapon, armor, scroll, or object card from your hand and return it to the deck. So it's not the worst thing in the world. What do I have that I really don't need? That I never use? I suppose I could give up the Blessed Mace. I don't think... I mean, that gives me some nice... Dispel might be what I get rid of. Keep forgetting that I have the glaive, and that glaive might have been the difference between me succeeding and failing at this. I think I'm going to give up Dispel. I think that is the scroll that I can give up. It's unfortunate. Trait goes back here. That's a skill. That's a scroll. Let's take these. We do still get the 2 XP for at least covering those. We're going to use them pretty much to clear up our fatigue when we rest. But first we have a... Once they are satisfied, the figures return to strolling the orchard and examining flakes. They finally arrive at a selection, plucking it carefully from its branch and cradling it like a newborn babe. They head up the archway to the north. When they are out of sight, you walk the orchard and pick a pink flake of your own. 94, Crystal Flake. Use an item, rest, or move to another location. So we are going to go ahead and rest. So this gets flipped. This gets flipped. These get put back. This gets put back. We're going to spend 2 XP and hopefully get some good dice here. 7. That's almost all of it. We'll use this to help fill up the rows. One of these can just simply go back. So now we can use some items here. I think we're actually going to continue onward to the Grove first and see what's here. All right, take the XP. You enter a grove of massive statues. Front and center in this collection of monuments stands the likeness of a human in plate of armor. When you get closer, it becomes clear that this human is the immortal knight. His helm, breastplate, and sword are unmistakable. But why should the Kleinox carve a statue of a knight from Nalos? Whatever he was doing here seems to have made a good impression. Alright, and then it's use an item, rest, or move to another location. So there's nothing really here except we should use some stuff. So let's first of all try the Flake and the Durgolium tuning fork together because that doesn't cost us anything. You press the crystal flake against the statue of the immortal knight and strike the tuning fork, placing it on the statue as well. The whole grove vibrates, and the flake displays what you interpret to be a warning image. You sense that the vibration could break open the statue if only it were stronger. Let's go ahead. I'm just going to pull some of these now. We're going to go ahead and try 92-100. You strike the Durgolium tuning fork with the cylinder of the same metal, and it creates a ring that is low but powerful. The air around you warps and wobbles. When you place the end of the fork against the statue of the immortal knight, it shakes violently and then cracks it open. A chunk of its base falls forward, allowing you the passage inside. D3. With its hollow chamber, you find a stone sarcophagus and a plaque, which reads Sir Amid Faris of the Order of Immortal Knights, one of many who gave their lives to defend the integrity of the Planiverse. Shocked, you push aside the sarcophagus lid and find the body of a human from Nalos. No armor adorns the corpse. It seems your mission here is complete. Now, you must find a way home. So the immortal knight is a big lie. Split. All right. So there's still other stuff that we could do here potentially, but I want to go back to B. An orchard of crystal flake trees rests quietly on the purple stone archway. We can use some items. We'll use 6194. That's going to be 1 XP. Or 1 fatigue, I mean. You pinpoint the purple stone staff at the crystal flake you picked. The staff showers the flake with crackling energy, and in response, the flake swells up in your hand. It's a little larger and much heavier now. Doesn't seem to have done much, though. We've used these, and I don't know if these are going to actually be of any benefit forward. Let's go back to here to see. The purple stone structure is empty. The plants on the roof stretch their roots down to the ceiling into a row of silver tanks. A rack in front of these tanks holds crystal faces. Let's use one for 6194 together. All right. You hold up your crystal flake and then aim the small purple stone staff at the row of tanks. A black blob of rubber crawls out of a tank and reaches up to take the flake from you. Slowly, the rubber reforms itself into a small, extra small, lopsided version of a Klinox. It stumbles its way across the room, lifts up a hatch in the floor, and descends into the basement. A moment later, it returns with a dusty crystal flake and a few gold coins wrapped in a musty bit of leather. You thank the creature, and it hobbles away. All right, gain 3 gold. And return 1 stamina from your fatigue box to the supply. We could go 92-100, but I think we already did that, and that actually caused the thing to rupture here. Let's go back to the Corroded Colossus and try 6194. The rusty frame of the Colossus is all that remains of the giant of Gurlong Bay. A gray and endless sea laps against the purple stone shore below. 6194. You point the purple stone staff and the crystal flake at the empty frame of the Colossus. The staff sprays out a single focus beam of energy at the frame, and the place produces an image of runes and symbols you do not understand. Try 92-100. You ring the tuning fork with its cylinder and place it against the frame of the Colossus. The frame hums. The stone and the sea vibrate with a steadily growing force until seems you have caused an earthquake. The stone ground beneath your feet cracks open, revealing a small cave. Within it, you find a small vein of gold. Let's head to the Klinox Archive. We don't have the keyword welcome. Giant bats, blah, blah, blah. Use an item. So first up, we're going to do 6194. You hold up the crystal flake, and the guard's face glows with recognition. He holds out his hand as you offer him the purple stone staff. Continue. After the guard scans the flake and staff with energy from his own staff, he stands aside, allowing a passageway into the archives. Record the keyword welcome. Reveal discovery card 24 and place an XP on it. So we got a new location. Yay! A lot of gold, too. Like, that's going to be really nice. 4 circles. So it's going to go there, and we're going to put this here. It does mean that we're missing an F. I'm noticing. Rest and move to another location. We're going to move to another location. We're going to go to the Endless Stacks. Let's see. Down a stone staircase lies a tubular multi-floor corridor shelves that stretches beyond sight in both directions. Klinox couriers run to and fro, shelving containers of gray sea and Durgolium boxes. As you wander the aisles, you see the jarred memories of many worlds, fantastic landscapes, bizarre creatures, and unfathomable occurrences. By chance, you stumble upon the familiar images of Sabek Palace, the Gurlong Colossus, and the Durgul city-states. The Durgolium chest sits next to these containers. You open it and uncover the Immortal Knight's helm. You take the helm in your hands and feel its power. It pulls against your grip, and somehow you know that it's moving you homeward. If you follow its lead, you will leave this world and return to Ulos. Reveal rare card 47. Wait. I'm so curious as to why I have four 48s. So this allows for any 2 dice to be rerolled, which is really neat, and that should have come over here. Reveal discovery card 28 and place 1 XP on it. This is 4 square. Which replaces D, apparently. Now that the Homeward Rift is open, moving to location F will trigger the end of an adventure. On the way home, back to the courtyard, a jar of gray matter catches your eye. Within the jar, you see the memory of a slug-faced explorer searching an icy cave. You tap on the jar, and the figure within reacts, looking around for the source of the sound. Odd that you should be able to interact with a memory this way. If you're... Okay, so we can search for an artifact for Nalos. You scan nearby shelves and find several jars containing gray matter images of home. You see memories that span the history of Nalos, from Gymnax's cartographers to the First War, from the construction of Sabek Palace to the era of Gopak's inventions, and from the retirement of an otherworldly artifacts up to the most recent memories of the Sabek Palace guards who met their fate when Terran opened the rift between your worlds. All of this history floods over you, filling you with an overwhelming sense of your smallness and the scope of history. And yet you have never felt more certain of your own importance, for now you know the full scope of this world in which that you now shape. Nalos is in dire need of a hero. Record the keyword discovery. Add 3 stamina, divided as you choose to any of your attribute rows from the supply, ignoring the usual limit. Again, I never like doing this part because I don't know if I'm just simply not doing the attribute thing right. We can now use an item, rest, or move to another location. So there's not much we can do here, but we can try doing 6194 for 1 fatigue, and that's not going to do anything. We can try... I don't think there's much else we can do. Did get a little spoiled there, so... Let's say that I'm going to try each combination, so let's do 94, 100 first. Because that's cheap. You hold the crystal flake up to the jar and then strike your tuning fork. The gray matter within the jar vibrates slightly, and the explorer loses his footing and falls to the floor. The crystal flake displays a few short words in a strange language. They flash red as if in warning. 94. You hold the crystal flake up near the jar. It glows with a pink light that illuminates the explorer's wave in the dark cave. Despite this, the explorer seems no closer to finding whatever it is they're searching for. Do 92, 100. Did we already do that? We did that. Do 92, 94. You hold the crystal flake against the jar and click your Degolium cylinder against the glass. The explorer within looks around, wondering where that sound came from. The crystal flake displays a silhouette of the explorer and some words in a language you don't understand. Let's try 61, 100. Because those don't go together. You ring your Degolium tuning fork with the purple stone staff and hold the fork near the glass. It makes the gray matter within vibrate gently, but the image within shakes as if rocked by an incredible earthquake. The ground beneath the explorer splits open, revealing a vein of gemstone. The explorer celebrates and picks up a loose gem. It seems you helped it find what it was looking for. Gain 1 XP, and if you have the title of Ice World Ambassador, G7. We don't, but we're going to move to another location. We're going to move back to E. If we have welcome, go to E7. The guard welcomes you back as if you were a fellow Klinox. You cannot use an item here again, so we're going to go here to B. If you have the keyword home, B2, then B4. No, sorry, B1. You can use an item, move to another location. We're going to move to F, Homeworld Rift. Get the hell out of here. Collect the XP and continue reading. Purple energy crackles around a vision of the battle raging at the gate of the Bizur Wall. The monument to the immortal knight lies half in this world, half in Ulos. The knight's helm pulls at your grip as if it wants to fly from your hands. Its powerful attachment to Ulos holds the rift open before you. Tarek emerges from behind the monument to greet you. I have bad news, Tarek tells you, but he can see by the look on your face that you already know what lies inside the monument. The body within is only the latest hero of our kingdom. Many warriors have served in the role of the immortal knight. Now, the Royal Council must choose someone new to wear the helm. He holds out his hand, expecting you to give him the helm. Before Tarek can say more, Gimlix appears on a hovering disk of pink energy. It seems he's acquired a purple stone staff and learned how to use it. The immortal knight didn't always fight for Nalos, Gimlix declares. The red armor once defended a united Ulos against any threat from beyond the gate. You can put that helmet on and use it however you want. Hand the helm to Tarek, return to Ulos with him. Wear the helm, return with Gimlix. So this is the big choice. I'm going with Gimlix. You place the helm on your head. Visions of past nights race through your own mind, their knowledge and power fusing with your own. With a blast of force, you knock Tarek to the ground, rendering him unconscious. Find Exalted in the trait deck and add it to one player's hands. If that card is not available, reveal title card 97. Tarek's Betrayal. If your Kings is higher than your star, increase your star by 1 and decrease your Kings by 1. Repeat until... So, 1, 2... time to realign the planiverse, says Gimlix. You nod and step through the rift with him. From the top of the small hill, you can see the battle raging all around you. Kingsguard soldiers, Starlit Door cultists, and Dragul minions are locked in mortal combat in a landscape torn apart by rifts to many other worlds. The battle to end all battles, says Gimlix. One way or another, the fate of our world will be decided here today. He floats down the hill and into the fray on his disc of pink energy. The end. The end. You watch the violence around you as if watching from the eye of a hurricane. A strange calm hovers over the hill you stand on, giving you time to consider how you will enter the fight. Examine your faction track, see which favor is the lowest. If your Dragul is the lowest, enter reveal card 90. So at this point now, it is looking at who's the lowest among yours as opposed to the highest. And I really do want to fight the Dragul. Dragul enemy. Examine your factions to see which is the highest. And right now, Starlit Door is the highest. So we'll reveal 88. That is Starlit Soldier. With Tarek out of the way, Nalos is short 1 rogue, and the Kingsguard is missing a powerful ally. To your knowledge, 1 halfling has never decided the fate of any battle, but you do feel better knowing that Tarek's quick, quiet feet and quick blade will not be sneaking up behind you anytime soon. You wonder how he will react when he wakes up himself, find himself trapped in the Kleinox world. Which kind of sucks. The Starlit Door is prepared to tear the veil from the face of this world, reconnecting every far-flung plane with Ulos at the center of it all. You must fight well and allow no other army to seize power. If the Kingsguard takes control of Bizur Wall, Terran will keep the gate to other worlds closed, trapping Ulos in its dark ages. If the Dragul prevail, they will unleash only those worlds that will help them conquer Ulos. The Door must win, for only they will restore Ulos to its rightful place in the planiverse. I watch a Twitch stream at 1 o'clock on Tuesdays, and that's the alarm that you just heard. So that's going to start shortly. Alexa, turn off alarm. Alexa, stop. The Dragul hordes invaded your lands, breaking the treaty of the final peace, and now they would seize the gate of Brazoor Wall to claim Azima's blessing for their own. They are monstrous foes, and you must do everything in your power to defeat them, once and for all. Once you seize the gate and Azima's blessing is yours, the Dragul will no longer have any power to stop you. Let's see. The rift overhead snaps shut with a final pop of purple energy, and you prepare yourself for battle. Soon, Brazoor Wall will open, and Azima the Benevolent, the Great Dragon, and the creator of Ulos will return to bless the worthy. If you fight well today, that blessing will fall upon you. You can now reset, return all spent cards and bonus play tokens. From the chaos of battle, a gigantic ogre emerges, easily twice the size of the one you encountered in Blacklake. She yields a warhammer the size of an ox cart and swings it with ease. The beast grits her teeth and charges for you, preparing to crush you into the earth. Wow. Okay, so we've got battles here that I was not aware of. Good thing we rested, and I've got a lot of damage already to deal with. That's not good. But we're going to pick that up in a bit. I'm going to stop the recording here, and when we come back, I've got a gigantic, unruly, ogre. 8 dice. Fortunately, I start with 6. It's going to be a battle. All right. That'll be in a bit. See you later. Okay, we're back. Okay, so we have still got an ending here that we have to deal with and not die. And that's going to be difficult because this gigantic ogre is going to be a problem. We've already got a fair amount of fatigue set in. We've got 9 fatigue. Fortunately, we've got a limit of 28, so we can take 18 more fatigue. We're going to need some of it to make sure that we get the right dice here. Looks like we're going to need... Let's go through this and just start pulling our dice that we need. We need 2 black. Two red. My focus is trying to make sure to white. And I think that's it as far as what we can do for dice, because we have a limit of 6. So that's it. Which is a lot of fatigue to take on. We're now at 15. We can take 12 without getting fatigued for the next round, so we'll put a little X here. And we're going to lose any 5s or 6s that we roll. Which sucks because it's a lot of 5s and 6s. So 6 goes back into the bag. That's the first thing that happens. And the rest of these we're just going to have to try to work with. Alright, I think that 4 is probably the first thing that I want to take care of. And I can do it by adjusting... I need to summon some dice. I mean, that's probably the bigger thing. But the first thing we're going to do is manipulate. We're going to get this to be a 4, so we knock out that 5. We're going to get 1 gold for this. We're probably going to die. But if I can avoid dying, that would be great. We can also do lavender pigment for 2 to make this a 2. And now we've knocked out the 4. So that's a huge amount right there. We're starting off, we've knocked out 9 potential damage. There's still, we're not going to be able to avoid this 4. And we can take 13. So that's 9 more. So we can get rid of this 4. That's probably the best thing that we can do. Now we can do that with a combination of Dispel. Not Dispel. It's the die that I got rid of crud. So we're going to do Cursed Raven for 3. We still have one more play that we can do normally. There we go. One specific die out of 38. We're going to roll it. You know, if we don't get a 6, we can still make it a 6. We got a 4. So on the plus side, we can play as our 4th thing. If we can find it. Sorry, I don't know why I'm pausing here. Jade Gauntlet. So that's 4, and that makes this a 6. So now on the next turn, we're still going to take a lot of damage. We're going to take 4, 1, 2. I think we're going to take 13 damage, which means we still want to try to cover. We want to cover at least one more of these. Ideally, the 5 or the 6. We can produce a 6. Man, if I could flip that red, I'd be good. We can do that. What we can do is we can. I don't want to do that. I can't flip the 2. I don't want to flip the 2 yet. The reason I don't want to flip the 2 is I'd have to use a runic one, and then I would have to count that. I want a 6. I want a 6. I can do protection, and then maybe add it up to 6 so that I cover that 3. Oh, and I need to add an X in case I actually do survive this. So this is the first of my bonus play. Oof. However, what was I going to do? I was just going to add that. That's unfortunate. I have to do my other bonus play now. And I would rather not. But I don't think I have a choice in the matter. We're going to gather power. We're going to gather a 5. Now, if I pull a black 5, I'll cover this and I'll save my class ability for the next round. If I pull any other type of 5, I'm going to add it to this 1 to cover that 6. Okay. So this is a 5. We're going to add this 5 to this 1 to make 6. And we've covered that damage. And that's huge because that is, I think, the biggest concern I had. But that was my other bonus play, was to do this gather. So we're now we've used all our bonus plays, so we only have 4 for the future rounds. But we're going into this next one. We're going to take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 9 damage. Just making sure that that is lit up. So let's go ahead and actually replace some stuff here. We're going to replace 1 there, so we know exactly where we are. All right, so 10, 10, and 4. So we have 3 damage that we can absorb. And I think we want to try to pull as much as we can together. I've now used my class ability, so that is unfortunate. Because I can't do anything else with the rest of these. Which is really, really not good. We have 3 more dice that we can add. If we're at 24 now, we can work our way up to... I'm just going to go full possible fatigue here. I'm going to add these red, white, and black. We're going to pull 3 more. We have all the colors we need. The problem is going to be trying to get the dice up to that amount. Okay, so 5s and 6s go back. Fortunately, we don't have any 5s and 6s. Unfortunately, this is going to be very difficult to do. First thing that we can do is potentially just produce a 6. That's hopefully either red or black. So I think that's our first thing to do, is just simply pull out a 6. Okay, good. That covers the first one. So that's 1 down. We have 3 more cards that we can play, and we have no more fatigue that we can take. So we have to cover the remainders here. We can spellbook down. I don't think I want to do that. I mean, no, I think we have to use the Immortal Helm for 2, and we're going to try to re-roll these 2. Oh my god. We're almost there. We have 2 more cards that we can play. Is that a 3? That is, just read that as something else. I just don't think we're going to be able to do it. We have 1. We can't take any more damage. That is how, that's 5. I mean, that's 3. That covers the 5 here. Because we're 1 off on damage, we're not going to be able to do it. The only thing that we can try to do is re-roll that 1, that 4, to make it a 1. I think that's it. That'll allow us to re-roll. We could try to get the Ancient Tortoise out. If we had something that could just make that a 1, we'd be good, but unfortunately we don't, and we don't have any more plays. We could make one of these 2s white, but we don't have a 5th play. Okay, yeah, it's got to be the Runic Pendant. I should have 9 cards here, right? Yeah. It's worth just checking. I can't even look. I can't even look. No! Oh, that hurts. That hurts because it's so close. That really hurts. Just one away. There's nothing I have that can pull fatigue. There's nothing I can do to roll other dice. There's nothing that allows me to look at a 1 and 6 in another manner. If I could play one more card, I could. If I had a bonus play limit of 3, I could. But I am 1 short. Oh, that is annoying. That is so annoying. The ogre crushes you. E6. The Warhammer's mighty blow knocks you flat, leaving a small crater in the hillside with each impact. Satisfied you won't be rejoining the battle anytime soon, the ogre leaps down into the fray, screaming Dragul war cries that chill your blood. After she's gone, you sit alone on a hilltop with the battle for Brazoor Wall raging all around you. Wounded and defeated, you sense a strange presence in the air. It fills you with the strength and will to fight to go on. Something here at the Ancient Gate does not want you to give up on the chance to win Azima's blessing. Each player choose an attribute score to increase by 1. And increase the combat dice limit by 1. So we're now at 7. We're going to make dexterity 3. Sorry, I'm just crossing off and rolling. And now if our entire party is exhausted, which it is because we got 1 freaking point of damage, read the corresponding entry in the Tome of Encounters, and then you can do the cleanup. So we'll do the adventure, and then I'm going to sign off. So we're at 5 now. Kethra, the old woman with empty, bottomless eyes, sits on the floor, her back against the iron gate. I really need to figure out some way to make sure that I can actually see how I look on screen, because I keep doing this sort of half on, half thing. There we go. Kethra, the old woman with empty, bottomless eyes, sits on the floor, her back against the iron gate. A dim light filters through the bars, allowing you to see every stone and cobweb. When she sees you, the goddess slowly stands, hand on her hip, and then opens her bag of marbles. Oh, halfway through already. Blah, 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 blah. I'm not going to read the rest of this. You can buy the game and read whatever else it says. It's really not that important. We're going to get another one of these little fiends. It's a Fiend of Ignorance. Gives you 3 blues. I don't need that. All right. And now we're going to see how much XP we get to keep, which is a shame because it was a lot. It was so much XP. 5. Get to keep 5 XP. Which is good. We'll probably just use that on an attribute. And then roll. The rest of this doesn't really matter because we're at the end of the adventure anyway. So we get to combine all our cards. Move this back here. Flip this. These all get filled up. This is going to get added here. I feel like had I not chosen 1 extra die, like I would have had it. And that's the disappointing thing, is how close I was to actually beating the ogre. It wasn't like like there was no way I could have possibly done it. I was in a good position to do it, and I feel like I just failed because of my own shortcomings. So it's a bummer. On the plus side, I have a ton of gold to use for the final battle. Gigantic, yeah, gigantic, unruly. Goes here. All right, and that's it. We're going to go ahead and advance after this. Thank you all so much for joining me. I will see you on the next one.